So today I was supposed to record a podcast for Sacred Leadership with Sherisse. And as you can call it, the divine or whatever you want to call it, we were having serious technical issues and it was not meant to be. The producer looked at me and she said, "Oh, you just look so pretty today." And the funny thing is, I also thought that I looked really pretty today. Maybe that's not funny, but it's not every day that I'm like, oh, wow, I look really nice today. And so I didn't want this glam to go to waste, so to speak. And so she said to me, she said, well, why don't you go and record anyways and you can post it on your YouTube channel or whatever. And I said, yeah, you know what? I think I am going to do that. And I didn't think that I had anything to talk about, or I thought maybe, I mean, I'm not going to talk about the topic I was actually going to talk about on the podcast today. That's for another day. But what I decided I would talk about is something that has happened in really real time. So I have to go back a little bit to bring you to this point in time. A few years ago, I had a fairly significant conflict with a friend. And the second major conflict that we had in our experience together. And the kind of conflict where you stop talking. And I had no idea. Well, I knew I had an idea. I knew what I had done. And I can remember even now, I had apologized. I had said the right things. I had done the right things, done the right things. And I felt really remorseful within that. I felt really apologetic within that, like all the things that go with repair. But recently, I was recounting the scenario to somebody in my family. I think it might have been one of my kids. And still, even all these years later, I remember having this very subtle energy within me, which was like, why won't she get over it already? Still being very, like, even though I have genuinely been apologetic and I genuinely am sorry and remorseful and all of those things, there was this very teeny tiny sliver of energy of get over it already. The divine is a beautiful thing when it comes to lessons. Here I was, minding my own business recently, like literally 4 days ago. No, not that long, 2 days ago. And whammo, the lesson came smack dab into my face. So I was having a conversation with my daughter, and she shared something with me that had happened through this friend that I am no longer speaking to. And there were a few things that struck me as really, really interesting. And I thought this would be a really great moment to like highlight what this journey looks like. So a previous version of myself, I would get really upset about what my daughter had told me. And I might not lose control outwardly, but for me, I'm more of like an inner explosive type of person. Like I really feel things very deeply in my body. So I might have said all the right things. So outwardly, I would be like, oh, okay, da 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 da. So yeah, well, I would probably would say things like, oh, okay, well, shit happens, and all the things. But in this moment, what I'd said to her was like, interesting. And I remember saying to her, I'm not surprised, because that thing that had happened had occurred a few times in our experience together. I was like, that doesn't surprise me. But what was more interesting is my ability to like, I like literally forgot about it for a couple of days. And I think even in that moment, I was like, this is new and this is interesting. I don't feel anxious. I don't feel upset. I don't feel angry. I don't feel sad. Disappointed. Yes, I did feel disappointed. And I think even now, as I recall, the disappointment was really around that the connection has degraded to this point, but none of those other low vibe feelings were there. Nothing. No internal explosion. And today, so this is now 2 days after this news has been shared with me, it finally hit me this morning. It finally, and it literally, what I came into my head was, this is what it feels like. This is what that feels like. And what I took that to mean, how I unraveled that, was from the perspective of, this is what it feels like when you do not allow your outer world to mess with your inner world. It is like, some people would say, oh, you don't care. I don't think you understand how this person is like a sister to me. So the loss of this relationship has been deeply painful. So it's certainly not a matter of not caring. That doesn't even enter the equation here. But what I mean when I say this is what it feels like, what I really mean is, this is what it means when you're not attached to what's happening outside of you. I'm not, yes, something disappointing happened. Something that would previously really throw me into a tizzy occurred 2 days ago. But even 2 days ago, I was not flapping all around. I wasn't freaking out. I was at this same calm that I feel today very much existed 2 days ago. So that was the first awareness, or, okay, that's super cool. But the second, this is what it feels like, is what allowed me to close the gap on truly understanding what happens when we inflict wounds on other people. Because as much as I had apologized and taken accountability and said all the right things or done all the right things, there was still this sliver of me that was like, yeah, but. Yeah, but, yeah. And yeah, but is what we say when there's a part of us that's still not willing to take accountability. It's like saying, I'm so sorry that I hurt you, but, or yeah, but you did this or you did that, or these are all the circumstances around it to justify my actions in that moment. And whether or not she is right or wrong, or I'm right or wrong, the reality is that she has her feelings, which are completely valid. And I now have my feelings of a scenario that has come full circle into my experience, and they are equally valid. So I just thought that this thing that just literally has been unfolding over the last few days was an opportunity to share just what this looks like in real time. And these two epiphanies that happened today. The first, of course, being, this is what it feels like when our exterior experiences no longer have so much power over us. And what a beautiful gift. What a beautiful, beautiful gift. So this is me having such gratitude for such a beautiful gift, because even though the experience has rocked my world in the sense of like the loss of the relationship, when external factors, people, places, situations can't fuck with your zen, that's a very, very powerful place to be. It means nothing can rob you of your peace. It means the world can do all its crazy and you can still stay firmly grounded and centered in yourself and trust yourself and rely. And that doesn't mean don't have connections and relationships with people. It's an entirely human experience. What it means is that I don't allow other people's nonsense. And I'm not saying this is nonsense. I'm just talking about the crazy making of the external experience, the sometimes crazy making. Let me be very careful of my verbiage. The sometimes crazy making that occurs to mess with me. And so even though, previously I could be like, or I would say things like, I don't understand. How could this person do this to me? I mean, I guess I understand all the reasons why they're hurt, but what a gift at the end of the day. And so much so, I wrote her a communication. And I've continued to communicate, even though there's zero communication being received. And some people would be like, man, you must be desperate. But I think in a lot of ways, it's been very therapeutic for me because it's allowed me to say what I need to say. And I have been moving into this place and space where I don't need her to respond. I actually don't even expect it. I fully expect that she will not respond. And you know what? That's okay. What I did say was like, if you don't want these communications, then you got to tell me so that I'm not violating her boundaries. But I'm going to continue to write. And so today was one of those days. And I shared with her the experience that I've just shared with all of you. And I didn't actually have all of that awareness, but I think what I'd said to her was basically, thank you for helping me learn this really important lesson. The lesson I was talking about specifically to her, though, was about now I get it. Now I understand the piece that was missing, that true understanding, because we can apologize to someone and we can really apologize for the ways that we hurt them. But sometimes there's this sliver of resistance because we might not fully understand, but what we're apologizing for is that we hurt them. But today, not only am I apologizing, or I've apologized for how I hurt her, but now I have full understanding. So the loop is now closed. I have full understanding of what that looks like. So I just thought that was such a juicy lesson, my lesson anyways, to share with all of you. I hope whoever sees this, hears this, that it's finding you because it's meant to. Maybe you're going through something similar, or you've gone through something similar, or you're about to go through something similar. But I really do believe in divine timing. And so if this finds you, this might be a message for you. And I really wanted to share it. So as always, thank you so much for joining me on this very, very personal journey. And as always, please continue to take care of yourselves. Until next time.